Hey everybody, welcome to another great episode. My name is Derek Isaac with the Raptor Sales Creators. Today we got the pleasure of hosting Les O'Hara. He's the contractor coach with the Contractor Huddle. He's a coach and consultant for contractors, 3 decades of experience in the trades. Now he helps other contractors grow their successful businesses. Welcome here, Les. How you doing?
Thanks, Derek. Awesome to be here. Awesome to be on your show, especially I think it was just today when I was working out in the basement, I was watching you on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of great content. Love putting it out there, and I'm really interested to talk with you today and just get some of your experience and some of your insights of helping contractors build and grow their businesses. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of the work that you do with the Contractor Huddle?
Yeah, about 3 decades ago, I had to come back from college to ask my dad for a job, and he was a police lieutenant in Chicago, and he always had a roofing business that he did as a little moonlighting gig. And so when he retired, he did it full time, and he got it growing to the point where he didn't really know what to do, and I needed some work. So I said, hey, let me come home and help you with the business, save some money, and then I'm going to go back to Minneapolis and live happily ever after. 3 decades later, I'm still here in the Chicagoland area running trade businesses, but it's been a great ride. We took that roofing business at the time that I joined. We were doing about 600,000 in sales, rocketed to 6 million within 5 years. And I made every mistake in the book because I'm a liberal arts major. I wasn't a business major. And it wasn't until I surrounded myself with some really sharp business owners in a mastermind type group and just some great wisdom of other business owners that I was able to start getting my bearing and figuring out this whole business. And so now I'm a serial entrepreneur. I buy and sell, kind of these kind of companies. My roofing business, I ended up selling it. It's now right after I sold it. It's one of the largest roofing businesses in the country. It's called O'Hara Sun Roofing. They do all of the Walmarts, Targets all over the country. And I had an indoor air duct cleaning business. We did HVAC restoration. I sold that to my longtime GM. He's now one of the largest restoration contractors on the West Coast. So I have this ability. I can get great companies started and running. Then I get bored and I like to bring in the person that will run it and then give them a chance for their dreams.
Yeah.
And so now, as I coach other contractors around the country, I just give them all of this wisdom and tools that I've learned over these 3 decades on the School of Hard Knocks.
That's incredible. You've done, what many people strive to do and struggle to do. It's definitely a process of, like you say, making a lot of mistakes and figuring out your ways, and surrounding yourself with good people and good advice definitely can help smooth things out and get you to that next level. Yeah, very impressive, and quite the track record, definitely. That's amazing. So with the Contractor Huddle, love the concept and the name. I know we've talked before about, you have that huddle, you have that team. It's, no one's out there by themselves in order to do, big things. You got to be, building teams and doing, leadership. So what do you specialize in with the Contractor Huddle? And can you tell us a little bit more, maybe specifically of the ways that you help clients that you work with?
Yeah, it was, I have 4 boys and they're all in athletics. And it was about 7 years ago that I had this urge. We needed a sports training facility in our area in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So again, as my serial entrepreneur hat, I said, I could do that. Let me figure that out. And when I opened it up and I started coaching kids, and I've coached all my boys in sports. And as those 2 prior stories, I coached these GMs that work for me in how to run businesses. I realized, one thing I'm great at is coaching people that want to become great, whether it's in athletics or it's in business. So about 5 years ago, I started a Facebook group for contractors to just, hey, let's all get into common area where we could talk about our problems and work on solutions. And then I started developing these relationships with people, and I just ended up in the coaching business, coaching contractors all over the country. And so now what we do is I put my wisdom, all my systems, all kind of my hard knocks learnings into a course that someone could take and take advantage of. But then I also coach them with the 4 concepts that I like to talk about. One is you really need to dial in your personal productivity, your calendar management, your time management, and the whole complete person. And if you're going to lead a company like we lead in construction, you need to get that dialed in. It's got to be work-life balance. You got to make sure you have great relations with your wife and your kids. Otherwise, if that's not dialed in, then anything else I can help you with is kind of a waste of time. So we really work on that aspect. But then right after that, we're digging into QuickBooks. We're digging into your cash flow. We're looking at financial statements, and then we are picking that apart to see where are we going to go from there. Because the numbers, as you know, Derek, is going to tell the owner what's the strategy that we need to do. Is it we need to grow sales? Is it we got leaks in the production side of things? Our gross profits are low? Is it our overhead? We don't have enough people around with us, or we have too much overhead? So we dig into the financials right away. Yeah. And then once we dig in there, the third area that I help contractors with is all these years of knowing the business. I've custom made a software for contractors to help with the sales and marketing lead automation. So that software, we teach them how to use it, how to upload their database of contacts, how to get leads, do Facebook ads, that whole thing to really build the lead gen side of it. Mm-hmm. And where you and I have a great relationship is the production side, the system side of how you run the business. I hate that side. So then I say, go talk to Derek. He's got that whole thing, beautifully laid out in a course, which and I was really impressed with that. That was super. But so that's the three. And then once you get this thing running and it's this machine that's kicking off income, then I mentor on how to take that money and invest it either back into the business strategically or in new businesses that are like that, or they could be bolted on, or even better, real estate like short-term rentals that me and a number of my clients get involved with.
Yeah. You touched on a number of great points and such a great process of, working with a client, definitely, diving into their numbers super early and their productivity and, personal management, because definitely a struggle for a lot of contractors. I'm sure a lot of people watching this right now can, identify with that, and myself included. When I started my contracting business was, generally we don't come from a business background, and, there's always so much to do, so many hats to wear, and the financial side of things is not the most interesting for a lot of guys, and then prefer just to be out there trying to, hustle and make money, and not realize that there's money to be made in watching the books and getting smart about, strategy and things like that. So that's amazing. So, and you touched on it before, like I'm big on systems, and again, a detail kind of heavy area that can be difficult in the contracting world. It's, contract is not an easy business to start. Lots of variables and moving parts. What are some, you mentioned, the software systems or processes that you either help clients with, or you suggest clients, get working for them, early on?
If I'm thinking about this correctly, there's three main softwares that you need. One is we need to know where the money is coming in and out at. And so that's QuickBooks or an equivalent, but I really strongly recommend QuickBooks. That's a non-negotiable for how cheap it is. Mm-hmm. Now, the next step, QuickBooks is getting so developed that for a young and upcoming contractor, they could kind of use the invoicing and payment part of it, and even as a CRM to begin maybe that first stage of the business. But very quickly, they need to then graduate to one of these great, what do you call them, platforms. I'll call it a CRM platform, like a House Call Pro. That's what I use for my masonry business. We $4 million a year, and we're running it off of House Call Pro. It's really simple. It's like a jobber. A lot of my clients have Job Nimbus. Many of my clients have AccuLinks. Many have Builder Trend. It all depends on what kind of trade you're in and how complex you want it to be. But those are the second piece of software that needs to be implemented to run the business. So you got QuickBooks, you got your customer CRM estimating that proposal. And then the third is your sales and marketing automation, which for years, people have used Infusionsoft or HubSpot or Pipedrive, something to really keep track of that. And I was always disappointed with that. And that's why we came up with our own system. We call it the Build 12 Contractors app. But you need another software that is handling all your incoming leads. It's doing the follow-ups. It's doing the nurture campaigns. It's doing the review requests. It's doing the social media marketing. You can get one tool that can do 6 or 7 for the contractor. You just hit a home run for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, those are definitely, I believe, the top, three that every business generally needs. I find most contractors will have the bookkeeping, aspect, usually QuickBooks, the project management, CRM, client facing side. I think it's becoming a lot more common. I know it used to be kind of like, some people would have it, some wouldn't. I think by now it's, so effective and, pricing's a no-brainer for what the software can do that a lot of guys have it. But I think a missing component for a lot of contractors is that actual CRM, because they are using their financial or their client CRM as kind of a sales and marketing, to keep track of things, but it's not really geared for that. I like that you pointed out, getting like a HubSpot or a Pipedrive or some other thing to take the early leads and that early pipeline of keeping track, because that's definitely a key component to having consistent business and consistent quotes and leads coming in and jobs closed. So
can I give you an example of that today?
100%. Yeah.
So for our masonry business, we just hired a new estimator salesman, came from another company, and I wanted to kickstart him, with some leads and make him feel good about the company.
Mm-hmm.
So part of my tech stack is I connect with property managers from LinkedIn. And when I do that, it automatically goes into our Build 12 app. And then I went in there today and I just picked 100 of them and I did a simple SMS right to them. I just said, first name, I have an estimator that's sitting on his hands. Can I look at any masonry projects for you? And within 20 minutes, I had 8 very solid leads from property managers from all across Chicago that we quick booked, boom, boom, boom. And so this salesman today went out there and, probably is thinking, this is a great company.
Mm-hmm. So that's amazing.
Yeah, you need to build that kind of asset that you can go to when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I help contractors do.
Yeah. Definitely. No, and that's just part of being in the know and then having that experience, right? Where you don't know what you don't know kind of thing. And there's a lot of tools and automations and different stuff out there, one is growing by the day and just keeping track of all the different programs and keep you busy forever. But yeah, things like that are key, and I can see a big value in that for sure for contractors to get on a system like that. Definitely. So moving on, what are some things that you see business owners getting wrong when it comes to the financial side of their business, managing their finances? They're just keeping track of cash flow and things like that.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head. Cash flow is key, right? So what I've learned from the School of Hard Knocks was the faster I grew, the more cash I was burning, and the more I had to go into debt to cover payrolls and pay subcontractors and all that fun stuff. So that's why the first thing, and over the years, I've hired consultants, I've hired CPAs that I've always said, please design me some kind of spreadsheet that I could see cash flow well ahead of time. And so what I see a lot of contractors do is they look in the checking account and they're like, what do I have this week? And what am I going to pay out? But that's only saying right now. They don't see the next 12 weeks. So I had these CPAs build me this spreadsheet. So to answer your question, that's what they need to do, is they need to be able to, on a Monday, come into the office, know exactly what's in the checking account, what they have to pay this week, and then they have to pay the next 12 weeks, and know what's going to be coming in and what's going out, and seeing if there's any landmines of empty cash or negative cash positions, and then we have to work on there. So now the construction business owner is proactive and not reactive. He knows that, 4 weeks from now, there might be a lull here. I need to either get some more deposits in the door. I have to slow roll some of my vendors. I have to ask the bank for a line of credit, or, I'm not going to be surprised that I don't have any money to make payroll this Friday.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I implemented very early on so I could sleep at night. And a lot of my clients, say that having that cash flow forecast system installed in their business helps them sleep at night.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is that system like pulling from QuickBooks, or would there be like, an admin or someone that would be monitoring and updating that? Or
Exactly. So it's all based off of QuickBooks. You run a quick report. That report gets put into specific columns so you could see where that money's being spent. So you got your subs, you got your materials, you have your payroll, you have insurance, fleet, so that you can also be dialing in, what are we averaging here? Because what you end up building is week after week after week, a history of what you're spending in each of those buckets so that you can forecast very tightly now the next 12 weeks. Yeah. And so you're building just a valuable database of data for you to grow your business. It's just been a game changer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds me of the quote, what gets monitored gets improved or something like that, or what's get measured gets improved. I don't know if that's Peter Drucker or whoever. But, yeah, so true. Even sometimes not even just by seeing the numbers and tracking it and checking reports regularly, it naturally makes you, realize where things are at and what, things need to get dialed into to improve, your bottom line. So awesome. Great advice. What are some strategies that contractors can implement to be more profitable? I know, everybody wants to make more with the revenue they're already doing. What are some of your suggestions to dial in, some additional profit for contractors?
Wow, you're catching me off guard here. Let me think of some off the top of my head. One thing that comes right to mind is that to be more profitable, and I'm coming from the sports background, you're going into a game, you have a game plan. And so to me, that's the budget. And so you need to have a budget for what you're going to be making every month and then what your expenses are. So if you plan that profit ahead of time, you're already ahead of, 90% of your competition. You got a plan to make some profit. So now the second part of that to be more profitable is you actually are looking month over month, how are we doing according to budget? And then you can make those changes. We're not selling enough. Okay, we need to do either more advertising, we got to close more, or our gross profits are slipping, or our overhead's getting out of control. That's the second step of being more profitable. But the third thing that I always teach my owners is sales cures all. So if you're not profitable, we're not selling enough. And if you're not selling enough, what is it? And it's usually going to be not enough leads, or you don't have a compelling branding and message that's making you stand out from the competition. So if you want to be more powerful, more profitable, why is the customer going to use you versus XYZ construction company? And that's where I really feel is a weakness that could be exploited if you wanted to be more profitable. How do we make more revenue? And it's just more leads and more closing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And investing a bit of time and money and energy on the branding side does pay dividends for sure in a business and can differentiate you and, enable you to charge a bit more because you have, more recognition, more trust, your service is valued higher by the client just due to, your branding and your marketing like no one's for. So
true.
Pre-game it pretty much, with branding without having to, worry about it later. So awesome advice. Appreciate you coming on here and, helping us with your expertise, your knowledge, your background. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you? I mean, you can drop a comment if you got any, specific questions about the material and stuff like that. This will be going on YouTube and probably social media. But if you want to connect with you personally or learn more about the Contractor Huddle, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the easy way is just Google Les O'Hara and I'll come up in a number of ways, probably LinkedIn. I'm very active on there, lesohara.com. That'll show you all the things that I got my hands involved in. And a big honor, Derek, for you to have me on your show. Love what you're doing. I think you're a great coach to other contractors, and it's great that we connected.